Hey, let's talk about mindful eating or conscious eating when it comes to weight control. When you're eating mindlessly, you might find that you finish your meal too quickly and you think, darn, I actually was looking forward to eating that and I didn't pay attention. So that drives you to have another one or go back for seconds. You might find that you're eating more than you need because you're just eating until your stomach says, please, no more. And that can actually be a fairly slow feedback response for some people. Or you might find you're at a higher weight than you'd like because you're not getting the messages to stop eating that can be produced from within. There was a nice piece of research carried out about 15 years ago where they took students in Paris and they asked them how they know when their meal is finished. And they noted internal cues. So they said, when I start feeling full or when food no longer tastes as good. Whereas in Chicago, they noted that they stop when they've eaten what most people would think is normal, or when they've run out of a beverage, or when the TV show is over. So in Paris, it was all about internal messages, and Chicago, it was all about external cues. They also divided people by weight and found that those at higher weights were more guided by external cues. So we have to ask, how can we rely on things around us to tell us how much we need to eat? It's like you can't rely on the person in the kitchen to serve you the right amount of food for you, and the same for your child. If you like food, then get the most out of it. Experience the food rather than just eating it as a form of fuel. We eat for so many other reasons than fueling our bodies, so we need to satisfy those other parts of our brain that are looking for fun and interest and satisfaction. Eating mindfully means you're paying attention to your body's experience of the food, and that can include how it's contributing to satisfaction. And remember, satisfaction is actually the absence of hunger. Fullness always means you've gone too far and stretched your stomach. Mindful eating is a strategy that will help you to feel satisfied on less food. It's satisfying you from your head rather than just waiting for your stomach to say, please, no more. It can actually help you to feel in control. You know, there's been some research that shows that mindful eating can reduce the frequency and the severity of binge eating episodes, which gives you more control. And I think that the loss of control is quite demoralizing. You know, finding that you're doing something that you didn't want to be doing. It's also termed cognitive dissonance. You know, if you believe that overeating is a bad thing, but there you are doing it again, it actually erodes your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Mindful eating, on the other hand, will help you to get enjoyment from food just by slowing down and noticing all the attributes. It gives you the power to avoid feeling uncomfortably full and enables you to have no regrets for what you've eaten. You know, you might even find that foods that you've been really attached to don't actually taste that good. You might start to taste the chemicals that you're now aware of, or you realize that all fast food actually tastes much the same and it's not that good anyway. So how are we going to do it? Well, what I'm going to ask you to do is next time you put anything in your mouth, whether it's a cup of tea, a snack, or a meal, first consider the presentation or how the food looks. Has it been slopped on the plate or is it presented beautifully? Could you have done a better job? You can also consider whether the quantity that's in front of you or that you intend to eat matches your appetite. So tune into that appetite and think about how it matches the quantity of food. Then think about the variety. So if it's a meal on a plate, have you ended up with a variety of colours and textures there? Or have you ended up with fish with white sauce, mashed potato and cauliflower, where everything's looking very grey and bland? If it's a snack, maybe like a muesli bar, then have a look at all the components of the meal, of that muesli bar rather. So is that wheat in there or is it oats? Are they sultanas or cranberries? You tell me. And then smell the food. So does it smell fresh? Does it smell stale? Does the aroma tell you anything about the ingredients? So there's actually 3 things to do before anything goes in your mouth. Have a good look at it, notice everything about it, and smell it. So then put the first part in your mouth and notice the texture. So try and put a word to that texture. Imagine that you're a food critic and that you need to write something about this food. What are you going to say? What word to describe the texture are you going to decide upon? Is it crisp? Is it smooth? Is it tough? Is it tender? And then notice the temperature. Is it just at room temperature? And if it's best at room temperature, has this particular instance been kept in a hot car or come out of the fridge? What can you tell about it? If it's a hot food and it's gradually getting cooler, at what point is the flavour the most intense? Is there an ideal flavour? Same thing if it started cold and it's warming up. Where is that ideal spot? And then notice the flavours. So sometimes imagine that you didn't see what you put in your mouth. Can you tell what it is just by the flavour? What is the difference between chicken and fish? Is it a texture thing or is the flavour the biggest hint? So that's how to slow right down and enjoy everything that goes in your mouth. Now the words that we've just gone through appear as prompts to remind you around the outside of the portion perfection plate. And this is another way that the plate serves as a trigger for beneficial behaviours. So if you find you're eating too fast or too much and not feeling good about what you've eaten, give mindful eating a go. It is easy and it's actually enjoyable. So what have you got to lose? Pick up the portion perfection tools you need to support good eating behaviours now. At the very minimum, click the link and get a portion perfection plate to get you started, and you can grow your good eating habits from there. I'll see you soon.